Hook the last link of a long swing chain onto a threaded clip, then connect one end of a swing belt seat and hand tighten the clip. Repeat those steps to connect a chain to the other side of the swing seat. When you're done, use an adjustable wrench to tighten both threaded clips. Finally, attach the other end of each long chain to the quick clips already connected to the heavy-duty swing hangers. After assembling a second swing, hook the last link of a short swing chain to a threaded clip. Then connect one end of the acro bar and then one of the acro handles before closing the clip by hand. Tighten with an adjustable wrench before assembling the parts on the other side. Then connect the other ends of each short swing chain to the remaining quick clips. When the SW posts are firmly in position, drive a rebar ground stake 13 inches into the ground next to each one. Be careful not to damage or break the washer while you're hammering. When the stake is in, attach it to the SW post with a pan screw. Then check the ground stake carefully and, if necessary, file down any sharp edges or touch up with outdoor paint. Move the access ladder rock wall into place at the back of the fort. Make sure the top edge is flush with the floor. Next, remove the board access from the top of the rock wall and set it aside along with the hardware. You'll need that again in a moment. Attach the access ladder rock wall to the back floor with a wafer lag screw in each of the 3 swing brackets. Then reattach the board access at the top of the rock wall. Measure 6 inches up from the top edge of the top ladder along the inner edge of one of the narrow window panels. Position the bottom hole of the steel hand grip there, and after pre-drilling, attach a wafer screw. Do the same for the top hole. Repeat the process to install a second steel hand grip along the edge of the other narrow window panel. Measure 23 3/4 inches up from the top edge of the top ladder on each narrow window panel. That's where the bottom edge of the middle arch should be. When it's in position, attach the middle arch to both narrow window panels using 2 wood screws on each side. Place a flower box directly under one of the windows on the cafe chalk wall window panel. Secure it in place with 2 pan screws, then repeat to attach a second flower box under the other window. Position a flag on the crow's nest side and fasten it in place with 2 pan screws. Repeat those steps to attach a second flag on the SL post. Place the tabletop in the opening of the cafe chalk wall window panel. It should be positioned tightly against the bottom and at both sides. Check to make sure the notch is on the inside edge of the tabletop. Then secure the tabletop in place using 2 wood screws along the inner edge. Now position one of the table gussets under the front of the tabletop. Make sure it's tight to the cafe chalk wall window panel and centered under the pilot holes in the tabletop. Fasten the table gusset in place with a wood screw first from the top and then from the inside through the cafe chalk wall window panel. Follow the same steps to install the second table gusset. Place the chalk wall divide in the notches on the cafe chalk wall window panel and the tabletop. When it's firmly in place, insert a wood screw in the pilot hole near the bottom of the chalk wall divide. Then from the outside, secure it with wood screws through the 2 pilot holes in the cafe chalk wall window panel. Position the spin chalk sign in the smaller opening next to the chalk wall divide. It should fit tightly. Fasten the spin chalk sign using 6 pan screws. Insert the canopy frames, making sure each of the different lengths is in the appropriate pocket. Connect the frames with a pan bolt attaching tube U first, then tube Z, and finally the longer tube L on the inside. Fasten with a lock nut. Then repeat those steps to assemble the frame on the other side of the canopy. With some assistance, position the cafe canopy above the cafe chalk wall window. Secure it in place with pan screws through each of the holes on tube Z and tube L. Now attach the top and sides of the cafe canopy with 8 pan screws. Try to line up the two near the center with the screws just above the canopy on the cafe chalk wall window panel. Place the bottom board flush to the bottom of the floorboards. Make sure it's also flush on both sides, then secure it in place with 2 wood screws on each end. From inside the assembly, measure 2 1/4 inches from the SL top left. After making sure it's flush to the bottom and the beveled edges are on the top and facing out, fasten the wallboard using 2 wood screws at the top and 2 at the bottom. Add 4 more wallboards in this fashion with a 2 1/4 inch space between each. With the inside of the door panel facing up, measure 16 inches up from the bottom. Position the bottom edge of the catch plate there and fasten it with 2 wood screws. Now place a door handle next to the catch plate. Secure it with 2 pan screws. Flip the door panel over and position a second door handle directly opposite the first. Fasten it in place with 2 pan screws. At the other side of the door, place 2 hinges, one close to the top and the other near the bottom. Once the hinge stops are in place tight to the door window panel, fasten each of the hinges with 3 pan screws. With some help, move the door panel into place. Use a tape measure to make sure the bottom of the door panel is 5/8 of an inch above the door side panel bottom. There should also be 5/8 of an inch space along the hinge side of the door nearest the door side panel. Attach the door panel using 3 pan screws per hinge. Place the magnetic catch in the notched end of the door stop and attach it using 2 wood screws. Then attach the door stop to the door side panel inside the assembly using 3 wood screws. When you're done, the door stop should overhang the door side panel by 1 1/4 inches and be aligned to connect with the catch plate. Hammer a T-nut into the hole at the bottom of the SL support. Then position the SL support beside the extended end of the back ground. Connect the two using a wafer bolt. After checking to make sure the SL support is at a 90-degree angle from the background, use a wood screw to secure it in place.